Let's define some checkpoints for moving in a backward motion. As always, our model group begins with their feet in first position, their weight is distributed slightly forward, and their bodies are in line from the bottom of their heels through the top of their heads. As they initiate this first step, the approach will be exactly the same as if they were going to move forward. They begin by bending the left knee and really peeling that left foot off the ground.
5, 6, 7, 8, and 1.
Let's slow that down and get another look. At this first checkpoint, they're pointing the back foot as they articulate. They're engaging all the muscles in the arch of their foot and on the back of the lower leg in order to make that back foot perpendicular as it touches. Since we're focusing on checkpoints right now, they haven't transferred any weight yet, and the upper body is still in line with the front leg. As they transfer their weight to the next checkpoint, they're going to push off with the ball of the front foot as they roll down with the back foot.
2, ready, move, roll, 2, 3, and 4.
Let's watch it slower, and this time make sure you're focused on the back foot. They're really using the entire surface area of their shoe to smoothly transfer their weight. Notice how they really use the muscles in the lower body, especially in the arch of the back foot, to make that roll down as smooth and as even as possible. Once more, focusing on the front foot this time, and you'll see how that front foot points as they push themselves backward with the ball of the foot. At the end of that push, just as they're dedicating most of the weight to the back foot, you'll see that front foot slide just a little bit as it points. And as we reach this checkpoint, nearly all of the weight has now been transferred to the back leg. That front foot is just providing balance, and the upper body is now in line with the back leg. Both legs are straight, and that front foot is still pointed from the end of the push-off. Now to move on from here, we simply need to bring that front foot back and take the next
One,
step.
2, ready, and move. 1, 2.
Since we start this motion with the front foot pointed, and we're headed to a checkpoint where that same foot is still pointed, we define the pass position this way. And in this freeze frame, Justin is the best example of what we're looking for. As his ankles cross, the passing foot is still pointed, and he's still engaging the arch of that foot, his ankle, and the muscles in his lower leg to keep that foot as pointed and engaged as possible as it travels backwards.
3, 4, and 1.
Once they complete the motion, we're right back where we started. They're engaging the arches of their feet and all the muscles in the back of the lower leg in order to point the back foot. So they're articulating perpendicular to the ground, which gives them the greatest possible surface area and range of motion with which to transfer their weight as they continue to move backwards. Now that we've covered the backward checkpoints, let's see how they work when we take 8 continuous steps backward.
5, and 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and close.
And as before, let's break that down.
Here's 1, 2.
With every backward articulation, these guys are engaging the muscles in the arch of the foot and the back of the leg so that the foot articulates perpendicular to the ground, which gives them the greatest surface area and range of motion possible with which to roll down and smoothly transfer the weight backward. In this frame, you can see how Justin's leg is straight at the end of the roll down. And now that we're moving in a continuous motion, you can see that by the time the roll down is complete, he's already started to push off with the front foot and he's headed to the next articulation. Here, we catch the group in the middle of their weight transfer. In the back, you can see them engaging the muscles in the lower leg to make the roll down as even and fluid as possible. And in the front, you see them pointing and pushing off from the ball of the foot. In this freeze frame, Brandon is a great example of the pass-through position. As his ankles cross, you can see the muscle engagement in his lower leg as he works to maintain the engagement and the point through the arch of his foot. Just as we discussed with the forward technique, nothing about the backward technique should change as you go into a halt. Your approach should be consistent from the initiation of the very first step all the way through the end of the phrase. Let's watch this example.
5, 6, 7, 8, and close.
And now let's break down the details.
5, 6, 7.
As they take their last step backwards, you can see how they're pointing the back foot so that it lands perpendicular to the ground. They're really exaggerating the technique just as much on the last step as they did in the middle of the phrase. They're preparing to close in first position, so you can see that they turned out the right foot as it rolled down onto the line. As they bring the left foot in to close, you can see how they're pointing the foot exactly as if they were going to take another step. Nothing is different about the technique as they go into this halt. As they close their feet, they simply roll that left foot down into first position, touching first with the end of the toe, then through the arch, and finally rolling down to the heel.
And close.
Let's watch them roll into the halt one more time. Now let's examine how all of these elements combine to form a backward technique that's smooth and consistent from beginning to end. Again, this will play 3 times, so use that opportunity to see how they exaggerate technique at the initiation of the first step, during the middle of the phrase, and how they exaggerate into the halt.
5, 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and close. 5, 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and close. 5, 6, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and close.